everybody. Happy Tuesday. Coming to you live here. I apologize for missing last week, and maybe I'll share a little bit of that because every now and then, I am not a political person, but if we don't start stepping up and really making our voices heard or letting people know what's not okay and what's been going on we're not okay with anymore, then who is? And it's going to take all of us arm in arm. You guys remember that vision I had? And for those of you new to the group, I am Araya Onra, the Dragon Lady, here in For the Love of Dragons, and I do come live every week, like to anyway, and usually do. But coming into ourselves, coming into this ascension journey, coming into who we be, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Really important to start stepping forward and paying attention to what's going on around us and being a part of it. And the vision that I had a couple years ago, was 2 years ago, May actually, and that was 2020. A lot of things breaking up and shaking up in 2020. And I shared this back then, but I'll share it again now because we have a lot of new people in the group. And I was out on a sort of a walk jog, just getting a little exercise in my neighborhood, and I came around and was just going on a straightaway and had an insight. Was like, stop and look at the sky. Okay, so I stopped, slowed to a walk so I wouldn't trip and fall, and I looked up and there was a dragon and a phoenix together in the sky. And immediately after that it hit me really, presence of, all right, pay attention. And then I had a full visual come in of millions of people arm in arm in a big line, elbow to elbow, marching forward and walking forward into the light and with the light. And my body's going crazy again on that. That's my full body tingles signal if you're not aware of it. But moving into that, it struck my heart. I actually got really emotional when that happened and had tears streaming, and just this overwhelming knowledge of what was to come and the part of it, and the sense of community that was connected to that. And I know that it's part of going into the whole quantum field that's about communal harmonic and what it's going to take for us to get there. And so it's tied together, and why it came in even as a flash of memory with this thing I did last week was going just to a county commissioners meeting and being there. It had to do with election integrity, and what are the people calling forth? Do they want measures in place? Do they want to see something more stringent or something more on par with making sure it's all fair and above board? So that's all I'll say on that. But if you're feeling strongly about stuff going on in your community or not happening in the way it needs to be, a lot of us have been complacent for a long time, and it's time now. The dragons are calling you, your higher selves are calling you, and we're going to go into talking about that really more directly. But what is your heart saying? What are you really wanting to see changed? What are you wanting to see different? Because we're the ones that are going to make it. We can call forth the new earth, we can say we're moving into the quantum field and the new world, but it is dependent on us creating it. It is dependent on us as creators stepping into that full ascension pathway, who we be, and then living it and walking it and calling it forth by stepping forward into action. And we can dream and visualize all we want, but if you don't follow through on the action steps that your heart responds to, we're probably not going to get very far very fast. And I know many of us are exhausted. Many of us are ready to feel that big push forward and be done or arrive somewhere that's been a long journey. And we go through those phases. I know I slept, I think, 10 hours last night. I was exhausted. My body's been calling for more. We did have a snow last night, so it's that hunker down energy anyway. But moving into this pathway, we need to stay rejuvenated. We need to stay on top of it and be ready to really be full force of who we be. And so that was a great question I got today that I want to go into is, you use the term who you be. And what's the difference between that and claiming the I am, who I am? How is that different than who I am when you say who I be? Why is that? It resonates with me, but I really don't understand what you mean, although my body's responding to it. And why you respond to it is because it's a greater essence of yourself. So for me, when I say who I be, that is my core essence, soul signature, full dragon self. And everyone is from a different realm. Most of the people in this group find me because they are connected to the dragon realms or some level of dragon in ancient realms. And So for me, my first and foremost incarnational aspect is dragon energy. That's what I consider my base soul signature. You can call it your higher self, your true self, your monad, your oversoul. My base core structure, that is where my soul signature sits, my full energetic dynamic, all of my DNA, that is me, my characteristics, my lessons, my quirks, my personalities, my gifts, my strengths, all of that, it unfolds in what I feel to be represented by the signature in how we're recognized. How are you recognized by, in higher dimensions, other beings, the masters, Yeshua, Saint Germain, any of the star beings, any of the other dragons? When they come to see you, how do they know who you are? Because you're not I'm not just Araya here on the planet. This is my incarnational fractal right now. But when I want to connect into my higher self, when I pull that in and I'm merging with my dragon, and that's the whole basis of the Dragon Heart program, and even the Quantum Flight program this year, it's just going faster for these guys. That merge with that essence is to discover and actually remember your soul signature, your fullness of self. And everybody will pick up on different aspects of that based on their own interpretive gifts of reception of, maybe they perceive your color, maybe they perceive your geometry, maybe they perceive your sound wave or your mantra, or your name. Maybe they get them all. But that's how we recognize other beings. And we have 8 billion people on the planet. Do you know how many trillions there are in the galaxies and universes? I mean, beyond trillions, quadrillions, quintillions, numbers that I don't even know how to say. But each of those is a unique signature. I mean, think about that. You are so unique and divine, and that is the essence of who you be. So the verb to be means that core of being something, representing something, to be present, to be within that. So for me, when I say who I be, that takes me into my full core, my essence, and that's why I use it. And that's why even if you don't, your brain's going, I don't know what you're talking about because that's not grammatically correct, it's bugging me. But your heart is responding because I'm talking to your heart signature. I'm talking to your soul aspect, your dragon. And there's something calling it forth, and I do it on purpose because I want to call that forth. My job here as a guide for the dragons especially is to call that forth within you. And there was a beautiful post last week. This is coming in to bring to mind and heart because not everybody sees all the posts in the group. We don't always feed through and look at them all. There was a beautiful one, and I love that it was someone sharing. I don't follow a lot of other people, but Magenta Pixie's work really stands out to me when I catch it, of being right on par, really bringing in some good stuff. And she shared something from one of her books, and it talked about those that bring the dragon energy and this very specific, unique codes that they bring for this unfolding. So I encourage you to go down and find it. I believe it was Jane Lawrence that posted it in the group sometime in the last week. So just scroll through and look for it. But it's a nice long read, and it talks about that. And that was a trigger that was meant. And you know, I let it go into the group as a feed on the post, not so much to tout Magenta Pixie's work, although I do tout it. She's incredible. And I was really grateful she actually shared my Oracle deck to her groups, and so it's gotten out there in a much bigger way. And in that remembrance of the very specific codes that you carry as dragon, and I am talking to my dragon family right now, and those that, you know, maybe are new to finding the group, new to remembering, new to going, what is that dragon energy? Why do I feel so called to it? Because you carry a certain codex within you that is meant for this time. It's meant for this unfolding, to release the grids into something else, to let it's almost like putting keys into the grid in order to release them so that the new grid can manifest fully and completely and step into its next phase of evolution. The dragons carry very key parts, and that's written about in my book as well. The keys and codes that are specific to the dragons, the pieces that we hold and why we're here. And so this piece of calling out, when I say step into who you be, that's one of the taglines or constant phrases that I use when I'm advertising the Dragon Heart program or putting information out about it, because I want people to be triggered. I want you to go, what does she mean by that? Who I be? And what's the difference with that versus who you are, or claiming the I am, who I am? When people claim that, I don't feel like it goes to the depths as much as who you be, because who I am is who I am in this present moment. Who I am is and it's very subtle, distinct, and I know I'm a linguistics major. Languages and focus and syntax and all that is my core focus, and I'm an interpreter. I'm a galactic interpreter, and this is why I'm able to do readings and connect with any lineage to share their information, no matter where you come from, because that's my gift. So in translating that, when it's the I am piece, a lot of people will say, well, I am claiming who I am by coming down here. But who I am is this embodied representative from me. It's very much more present in the dynamic of the here and now than all of who I be. That the I am is almost like a claim to say, let me try to bring it in. I am, I'm claiming it, I'm stepping it down. And it's like a call or a pull energetically to say, bring it in, bring it home, bring it to the now. And yet, as you step into that, I feel like you keep realizing deeper and deeper and deeper who you are. As I call in my I am presence, I'm constantly stepping and pulling forward more and more information about that. And for me, that means I'm really learning who I be. By calling in who I am, it's the fullness of who I be on a full core aspect that is so much bigger. And eventually they merge. Eventually everything merges in. But if you're wondering, like, what is that subtle distinction that she makes? Why is that important? Why is it resonating in my body, but my brain is fighting it? And that's another piece of the dynamic energetic that you be doesn't respond to the limitations of the brain. There are terms that I've had to create that have come in with information that is such higher level than I've had before that I keep having to create new terms, because our little brain is so limited in its ability to comprehend. And even if I say to you, your soul signature, your soul geometry that's part of your heart song signature, if you were to visualize the geometry, you'd get pieces of it based on a 3D visual, just sort of like the Metatron cube representations that you can go and find on YouTube or different places, where people have created them spinning. They're really beautiful. And they go through lots of different patterns as they merge and meld and flip and flop and go invert and extrovert and all the things that those do. That's taken a 3D model to a greater scale, a closer scale. But if we were to actually be able to comprehend 5th dimensional or 22nd dimensional geometrics, this brain would explode. So we can get a piece of it, we can translate it down and start getting pieces of it, but you'll have more of a heart knowing of what it is than an actual visual that you could draw or have as 3D. But that's a step closer. So this limitation, the little mind limitations, are now starting to be broken, even as we connect into that full essence of who I be. And I start bringing that in, emerging with my dragon and going through that process and activating my crystalline DNA and diamond codes. I'm stepped into that fullness, and I remember more and more. And I will tell you, the further forward I go on the path, each of us, the further forward we go in that vibrational sequencing to actually go through the ascension process, as we keep raising our vibrational levels, the further back you can actually remember. Because it's all of a remembering. And what is remembering? It's remembering ourselves. Those aspects, their memories, they're actual members of a geometric field. We are remembering that, and as we come full circle, we can go further back the further forward we go. So I've been able to actually have conscious memory going much further back, and I've shared some of those on the live, so I won't do it now. But this aspect of who I be versus who I am is a dynamic that you'll start to feel in your heart, because it starts expanding multidimensionally. And I think that's another subtle difference. Is for me, the I am presence is what we're dropping into 3D in order to call in the rest. And that as I step into who I be, it actually pulls me into that quantum field more directly as I call forth the access to it, as I bring that dragon self in to merge. So just out of fun, I think I'm going to pull my deck forward and just see what the dragons want to say on that note, and see if there's a piece energetically that we can connect in with a dragon card reading of, all right, related to that question, who I be versus who I am, what do the dragons have to say, and where does that fit energetically? Holding. And if you haven't seen the deck, this is the Divining with the Dragons Oracle deck with all the beautiful dragons, and these are all the ones that are on the wall here that I love to walk into this room and just feel them all greet me, just feel this overwhelm of energy, like, oh, hello. And I do choose them specifically each week. We've got the Wind Dragon and the Amethyst Dragon. And I was feeling that this morning, that sort of hibernation, deep cave space, especially with the snow energy last night here in Reno, and my own deep cave. Like, I don't often go in and sleep 10 hours, and it was heaven. My body feels fatigued and needing that deep rejuvenation. So when I do a reading, I hold the cards. A lot of people wait for a card to fall out. I actually just feel where the energy is of the dragon that's wanting to speak, and start to feel where in the layout of the deck, which half, which segment, and then let it actually split open directly there. And so it's interesting because I'm actually feeling two. It's splitting in two places. So I'm going to pull them both forward. This is interesting. We have the black and the chartreuse. And that black, that shadowland, the inversion. And yay, Nuri catching alive. This fits in. Black Dragon is about power, it's about shadow work, it's about the deep dive and the willingness to go in, but it also holds. So when we have the black and the white is that beautiful God light, that divine light, and it's very interesting that the black is coming up because there's been a lot of presence of the black light, the black sun, that deep feminine void, the internal aspect of the true core that is the dragon within. That energy's been very present in the last week for me. And so here it is, calling forth through the shadows, through the depths of that void into the inversion. That's absolutely connected to the who I be. The who I be is the fullness of both levels of light, the black light and the brilliant white light, coming together into that merge, into that union. And that we have to call forth all of the shadow. We have to call forth that void. We have to bring up to step into it. So the black dragon, I'll just read his keywords so that we aren't on all day here. But if you have the deck, you can go and read the whole thing. If you don't, I encourage you to get it. Go to dragonwithin.com/lair, L-A-I-R. And there's a whole section on books, decks, and greeting cards that's all printed material. So we have the power, shadow, secrets aspect. Power, shadow, and secrets. Who I be. A lot of that is secret from ourselves in this moment until you start that journey forward. And I love that this is counterbalanced with the chartreuse dragon, who's one of the Pleiadian energies, very high frequency. So it's almost like rebounding that full circle of very, very, very high light with the depths of the shadow, depths of the void. Thank you, Nuri. I'm glad you're happy to have one. I have loved every minute of it coming through, of working with it, of seeing people get to expand with it, and knowing that every package that I send out, every transmission that I send out, every package that goes out, whether it's a book, a stuffy, canvas print, I do a transmission into each package going out directly for that person that purchased it for their own expansion journey. So there's an actual download in it as you receive it, which makes it that much more powerful for you to work with. So the chartreuse dragon is about breath, sustenance, vitality, uplift. Connected to the wings, the uplift with the dragon's wings. But this is one of the, so the Pleiadians hold the 7th, 8th, and 9th dimensional frequencies. So a lot of light with this, and I can feel it counterbalancing the depths of like being dropped into our shadow space, being dropped into that void. Where are the secrets? What is holding me back? Because there's two sides of secrets. What is holding me back? It's secret even from myself. What are the blockages, the traps, or the boxes that are around me that are holding me back, the things I don't want to look at? Those are secrets from myself. And when I'm willing to look at it and have them brought to the light of day, then I actually move through that and bring more of myself in. So the chartreuse dragon, I'm going to go ahead and read the full page because I feel like it's going to have a deeper message for everybody. So when the dragon's wings lift skyward, the chest expands more fully than on land. It fills with an inhale, bringing life force, vitality, and renewed strength to sustain itself in flight. The chartreuse dragon of the Pleiades holds this energy and is indicating the need to breathe deeply and uplift yourself. Your vitality may be waning because you don't allow yourself to breathe deeply to sustain your physical needs, or you're not allowing yourself to fly or even fully see what is possible out in front of you. Letting old limiting beliefs keep you small. Are you letting yourself dream, or are you letting yourself stay small? That's exactly what we were just talking about with the limitation of the brain, the mind, that holds us back from even being able to comprehend the higher dimensional pieces. Alternatively, you may truly be ready to fly because you have a new vision that is sustaining and inspiring you to take flight. Let it lift you to new heights and then soar and enjoy the view. If you don't dare to take off, you can never fly. Let your heart lead. So that is a very interesting piece of remembrance, I would say. Taking note. The dragon's sort of putting us on notice as we're talking about who I be. That's been our discussion and our conversation today. Who I be. And here they come in with shadow, secrets, the depths of darkness, of what's deep within you, and the willingness. All right. Chartreuse energy, uplift, vitality. Are you breathing deeply? Are you letting yourself see that you can soar? Are you ready to soar? Or are you letting those limiting beliefs hold you back? The two ends of the spectrum here, I think, are absolutely incredible, what the dragons are bringing in today in that reading with the black dragon and the chartreuse dragon. It really is both sections, and in that journey to who I be, it's about that merge. It's about bringing in the fullness. And when we step into, and I think this is another real key point to make, it's being made right now, the who I am, the I am presence that's been a focus of many journeys and many teachers and many things out there for a while. It's been meant to bring us into that calling forth our light. I'm calling forth my light. I'm here now, I'm bringing it in. But the piece beyond that is now about the merge. It's now about divine union and stepping into the fullness that is both sides of the equation. So when I call forth my I am presence, most people focus on I am that light. I am all of this light. I am that aspect of God that is light, and I'm going to bring in that and hold it. And I wish I could see that whole comment there. I'm going to just see if I can scroll any of it. Oh, Willika over in Netherlands. She's made a lot of perfumes with the corresponding scents. I'm so glad you're using that, the essential oils that are aligned with each of the dragons in the deck. I don't know if everybody's seen that part of their book, but fantastic, Willika, that you're using it. So that's a big piece to bring in there, and I love that that was the dragons actually bringing that to my awareness to also bring into the conversation, that the who I be versus the I am presence of calling in that light. Here I am, I'm bringing it forward, I'm calling it in. And it's that amount of light coming in that's been coming through our crown for all this time. Well, now as our bodies shift and we're going to be getting energy differently, getting it through the heart as we go into the merge space, this is where the journey becomes about, all right, the fullness of both sides, they're both present and I bring them together. And that's the completion point. That until I go through the depths of my secrets, my shadow body, that feminine void and the fullness of that, that's where who I be comes in. That's the fullness of both sides, the black light, the white light. I am all of that. And as I call that forth, I'm going to remember all of myself, all of my gifts, and really start walking who I be. And that's the way I also use it is, are you living who you be on the planet? Are you walking who you be? Because who I am in this fractal, or even this aspect as I've been on my journey for a while, calling in that light, well, I'm also all of that shadow. And all of that has been my lessons and my keys to actually hold more of that light and actually show it and hold it and embrace it. And that black light capacity, especially for those that I feel like the women are more prone to accessing that black light more easily, but we are also more prone to having a lot of shadow in there that we don't want to see. And so holding that, as we bring that forth for humanity, that's when the cup runneth over. That's when it's all going to be really just bubbling up. And this is, here we go, black dragon coming up from the raising of the female black dragon through Africa. a few years back, it's been 4 years now, or 3.5 really, because it was fall of 2018, bringing that up, that's coming into play. That's now the masculine and feminine coming together so that they're no longer in opposed positions, that there's not one dominating or that they're so far apart they can't feel each other. The dance is starting to happen, and this is what happens within you as you call in that presence of your fullness of who you be. So I love that that simple question brought all this discussion and awareness. So hopefully it gave you a little new insight on whatever level. And if you have questions, that was a question that I put a new thing that's pinned in the top of the group for the Love of Dragons. Post your questions there. I will check that consistently, and we will deal with that every week when you guys have questions. Let's get you the answers you need. Let's get you keep going. If it's something that's like coming up for you right now this week, if we can get that answered, then you can keep going forward. You can keep going, oh yes, that fits in here. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do, to be your guide, to bring forth answers for you so that you can keep rolling forward on your journey, whether I am directly a part of it in a program or a class or a session, or you are just using the materials, tools, the guided meditations, the books, whatever you find on the site, the deck, to move you forward, because everybody's path is different and you're all going to need things from that at different times, and I know that, so I try to make lots of different things available and myself available for all those different ways that it manifests. And making myself available, one thing you guys might not know is about discovery calls. I do free 20-minute calls. They're not readings, but they are meant to answer things that you might have about, like, what does that program do, or, you know, I'm feeling this, where should I head? What would be a good program or book or meditation for me to dive into, or is there something else I need to focus on in my very beginning, or maybe I'm very advanced, or wherever you are. Those discovery calls are meant to do that. And on the booking calendar, it's on the Book Now button, homepage of dragonwithin.com or invokehealing.com, and that's how you get to me. 3 weeks out is the maximum it will book, so if you're not seeing anything, just keep checking back. Every few days, check back, because something will open up, and phases where I am booked 3 weeks out, and it's just the role of how it flows.